Hello, this is Jordan Simpson.
Hello, Jordan. This is Kelly Goggin, the head athletic trainer at University of Mount Union. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I am here with our search committee. I've got Rachel Cummings, our clinical education coordinator, Jack Haley, our grad assistant athletic trainer, as well as Isaiah Mast and Corey Delaney, two of our assistant athletic trainers. We were just hoping we could ask you a few questions.
All right, that'd be perfect.
Fantastic. Why don't you start off? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm originally from East Liverpool, Ohio. I am currently a senior athletic training student, and I'm completing my PT rotation right now, along with working with a high school football team, usually on Friday nights. And then I do a little bit at my university with the women's soccer team. I first experienced an athletic trainer when I was in high school, and I tore my ACL. After spending a couple years with him with a preventative program for me to reassure myself of, being strong enough to re-care, I figured out, this could be the position for me. I really enjoyed doing it, being in with him day in and day out, and with his love for, athletic training, I really grew to love it as well, and I hope to one day be like him. And in my future, I wish to kind of end up with a high school or a college kind of teaching sports medicine. And I believe that applying for this position puts me in a place to be where I see myself in the future.
Good morning, Jordan. Tell me about your education and how it prepared you for this profession.
All right, so I am currently an undergrad. I have taken multiple classes underneath the four-year curriculum, and they've included modalities and rehabilitation and just the foundation. And after going through with all of those classes and studying up and doing all sorts of stuff to get hands-on in the clinic, I believe that my undergrad has put me in the perfect position to succeed anywhere I go.
Good morning, Jordan. How would others describe you?
Well, I have sat in on a couple interviews with my preceptors back in the day, and a couple things that have stuck out to me is I'm outgoing and I'm very positive. They never really know how to take me, but at least they do always say that they smile when they see me. So I always see myself as a internal motivator, so I try to, as I internally motivate myself, I motivate others as well, I believe, and I think that definitely my positivity sticks out to just about anybody.
Jordan, tell me what you consider your strengths to be within athletic training.
Well, my main strength, I believe, is I see an athlete as a whole, so not just generically somebody that I can fix and rehab. I also like to see their mental part of it too. So right now I'm experiencing a torn ACL with a men's soccer player, and he seemed to kind of be down a little bit on the first day. So I like to mentally work them up, because I don't believe if they're mentally well, then they're not going to perform at their best to get back out on the field. So I guess my main strength would be seeing the athlete as a whole, and not just I'm going to put them back out on the field either way, whether they're physically capable or mentally capable. And I work well with others. I enjoy working with others. I believe that if I would just sit at a desk by myself all day, I'd never be as truly happy as I could be. So working with others is definitely a privilege and a blessing to always continue making others happy, because that's what I really like to do. And also I like to really get to know my athletes, and when they come in with a rolled ankle or something and they have a 4 out of 10 pain, but maybe they dislocate something, I kind of can tell their subjective pain after getting to know them for so long.
Jordan, if you had to pick a specific clinical skill set, where do you think your strength is there?
I really enjoy rehab. I have gotten a lot of experience with it, being through what I have been through and sitting in a clinic for a year while doing that. So I got to see a lot of different outlooks on it from different PTs and PTAs and athletic trainers, obviously. And then going through my undergrad, a lot of my athletic trainers have handed me down some unique rehabilitation techniques. So I think rehab would be my most privileged thing. Sorry.
All right, Jordan. In what area do you feel you need to improve upon?
Well, after reviewing like a lot of my skills, often like on a daily basis, my main thing that I think I could really improve on is my medical terminology within my documentation. I try with all the, I don't know, medical terms and trying to abbreviate, but I still think like that is something that I could improve on immensely and take a lot of advice on from others to improve.
And are there any additional certifications you're looking to pursue?
I kind of was looking to get like an FMS or a strength and conditioning because I was kind of offered after college if I wanted to do education. They have a Kent State East Liverpool, and they would like me to teach a strength and conditioning course at one of their like phys ed classes basically, and they kind of offered that up. So I was really thinking about getting like certified in like a strength and conditioning class.
Jordan, as far as your weakness with medical terminology, are you taking any specific steps to try to address that, to try to get stronger in that regard?
Well, there is a 2-credit course online at the university I am currently attending, and it is basically just solely medical terminology, and I was going to consider taking it in the spring for my last semester.
Could you please provide us with an example of how you have solved a problem in the past?
You mean like an on the field problem or just like a general problem?
Let's go with something on the field.
All right. Well, I've had an athlete go like be completely knocked out with a concussion from a soccer ball to the face. So that was just me simply going out there and trying to evaluate the surroundings, make sure like the athlete was not going to get harmed any further. And then finally, once we got them woke up, it was evaluating their cranial nerves and making sure that the athlete didn't need to go to the emergency facility to get looked at or anything. It was definitely incredible the first time I had to talk to a parent, especially when that was my first go around at talking to a parent, and it was kind of terrifying, but I got through it for my first time. But I think after working under certified, they've definitely illustrated the way that you need to get through those issues, especially when a parent is very uncompliant. I don't know.
Okay, Jordan, can you talk to us about the best boss you ever had and some of the traits that they had?
The best boss?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I didn't hear you correctly.
That's okay.
So I've worked at the same place for approximately 3 years, and the one boss that sticks out I've kind of known for a really long time, since I was probably 5 years old, and he is very positive. Like, he's always smiling, and he never wants the workers to feel like this is just a job, like you're just coming in for the money. And I've personally never wanted to feel that way, because once I consider something a job, I don't think I'm going to want to do it anymore. So after being underneath him for almost 4 years now, like, he has definitely taught me that. And he also has kids my age, so he's more like a father outlook too. Like, I can go to him for anything, and I think that's how a boss should be. You should never be afraid to go to your boss about an issue, and I definitely admire him for all of that too.
What about the worst?
The worst boss.
Yep.
I don't really think of anybody as the worst. No one comes to mind. I have only worked one place.
Okay.
If I had example of a worse boss, it would just be like the opposite of what mine would be. Like somebody that is completely unmotivated and, you know, yells at their staff and stuff like that. Like I would not want to work under somebody like that.
Thanks, Jordan.
Jordan. Oh, sorry. Jordan, where do you see yourself in 2 years?
Well, as of right now, if I didn't get this position, then I foresee myself back home in East Liverpool working at one of the local high schools or in a PT clinic just until a high school position would open up.
What about 5 years?
In 5 years, I would like to potentially move to North Carolina. And if I moved to North Carolina, I would pursue a college job down there as an athletic trainer. I wouldn't mind doing high school or college, but if I were to get my dream of going to North Carolina, then I would like to work with the university.
Jordan, provide us with an example of how you've demonstrated leadership and initiative.
So, as the only athletic training student at my high school, it's kind of like a bummed out situation where we live. We always are kind of put down by the generations, how terrible it is. And, you know, kids don't have the parents that they need. So my leadership would definitely be taking place at East Liverpool. And it would just be kind of getting the kids, like they always talk bad about high school and about sports. And it would really just be the matter of fact of just saying, like, I hope you guys are positive about this because this is just your secondary school. This is what gets you ready for college. Like, I always just try to motivate them in their everyday life, and I hope that picks them up. So, I mean, that's really how I would demonstrate my leadership qualities right now would be trying to help younger kids or athletes out into trying to find the person who they're going to be within the next, like, 2 or 3 years.
Jordan, do you have any questions for us?
I do have a couple questions for you. So I looked up on Mount Union's job description. I seen you guys had a job opening, and I was reading through like the expectations, and I was wondering if those would kind of be like the same expectations that you guys would have for your grad assistant students.
Remarkably similar. The main difference would be instead of a full-time position, it's just, you know, grad assistant hours, so part-time, about 20 to 30 a week.
All right, awesome. And what does your typical workday look like?
What's your typical work?
So right now our hours are 9 to 3, so we'll have walk-ins and appointment made times that we'll see our athletes and do their rehabs, and then that 2 o'clock hits, and then it's getting ready for practice, and then typically we're out of the door by 7 on most days.
All right, so when athletes come in, are they assigned to a specific person, or do they just come in and whoever's in there at the time they take?
That kind of depends. We have 2 athletic trainers that work with the football team and the men's lacrosse team. And then we have currently 4 athletic trainers right now working as zone coverage. And that works out how an athlete can see any of those 4, and we communicate between the 4 of us, and we make sure that they're getting the treatment they need. So anyone can kind of take a practice here or there. One day I might cover soccer, the other day I might be at volleyball. It really helps with the burnout, and you get to meet all of the athletes instead of just being focused in on one team specifically.
All right, that sounds interesting. And lastly, my last question would be like, what's the work atmosphere like there?
So I've only been here for about a month and a half now, but I've really settled in and hit the ground running. And the best thing about it is probably the family atmosphere that you get with my coworkers. They've really taken me in and showed me the ropes so far. And also the athletes here are really great. They're really appreciative of what we have to offer.
All right.
Any other questions for us, Jordan?
No, thank you. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, and we'll be in touch.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Bye.